So I am going to show you a feature that's actually been around since 1811. So, you may have already come across it yourselves. In fact, you may be using it in earnest, although some of you may not actually have realised the functionality is there. So I'm really just going to spend the next 5 minutes or so just taking you through the chart facility that's now available with the reporting module. So up until 1811, the only way you could really generate any pretty pictures using Koha reports would be to download the results into a third-party application and then manipulate the results from there. So I've got a couple of examples of reports just to show you different types of charts that we can create. So the first one I'm going to look for is in my cataloging group, and it's called total number of items by branch. So I'll just go into look at this report. So if I first of all show the SQL for this report, very simple SQL. It's basically selecting the home branch and giving us a count of items and from the items table, and it's going to order by the home branch. Okay, so there's nothing complicated with this report at all. And if I run it, we can see it does produce as a table. Now we're all familiar with the tables in Koha reports. So you've got details of the branches on the left-hand side and the number of items within each branch on the right-hand side. So just looking at this table, we can see that by far the majority of items reside in the main branch. And in our hunt branch, we've got over 2,000, but far fewer than what's in the main branch, for example. Now, the table output is absolutely fine, but it is a bit limited with its appearance. So what we can do with Koha reports now is we can create charts. However, the charts will only work for reports that lend themselves to the charts. So for example, you can't create charts on the statistics wizards because the output of that doesn't cater for the charts. So click on Create Chart. You get different types of charts available. We've got pies, bar charts, line charts, and then the output of columns that you see on screen is dependent upon the results of the report. So in this case, we've only got the 2 columns. So when we go to create a chart, we only have an X column and a Y column. So you can specify what you want in each of these. So we just keep it simple, say we're having our home branch as the X column and items as the Y column. Then we click on draw, and there we have a pie chart. Now we can see it's nice and colourful, and at the bottom we have our legend. So as I hover over things, you can see, so if I go to this green panel, this is our NIMR library, which has got 25.3% of the items collection. And when I hover there, you can also see down here that the NIMR was highlighted. And if I do it the opposite way, you can see. So wherever we hover over, you get a little bit more information. So of course, some of these segments have got percentages in them, whilst others up here don't. So if I have a look, we can see the anthropology actually has 3.2%. So I can still see what percentage of the collection is at the anthropology library, even though it's not visible from the pie chart itself. Okay. Now, it isn't possible to really manipulate this in any way. It's kind of what you see is what you have, but we can create other types of charts. So if we look at another option, so create chart again, and this time I'm going to do a bar chart, and I'm going to keep the X and the Y columns as they were. And now when I click draw, I get a nice little bar chart appearing. So again, as we saw from the table, the main library has the most stock, so we would expect that to be our largest bar. And when we hover over it, we can see exactly how many items are in the main library, because obviously the numbers on the left-hand side, you can't be truly accurate, but you can see that when you hover over. Okay, the table does remain on screen as well further down. If you did need to refer to that, then you can do so from there. Now, one thing you'll notice is that the bar charts are appearing vertically, but if you prefer a horizontal bar chart, then you can change that by clicking the horizontal bar option from the chart settings. And this time when we draw it, it displays like so. Okay. We can also, the final type of chart that you can draw is a line chart. And in this, you're still using the same report. If we now have a look at the display of a line chart, you can see it looks like so. Okay. Now, before I move on, one thing to notice is that we have a new download option. So we've always been able to download our reports into CSV format, put it into Excel, whatever you want to do. But now there is the option to download the chart, and it uses the SVG file extension, which I found out stands for Scalable Vector Graphics format. So it's used widely for images, and you can use another application to open up these SVG file formats. So you can download any charts that you create. Okay, I'm going to got a second example that just provides a little bit more information, and you can see how that's output in a chart. So this time we're in our circulation group, and it's called branch checkouts. There we go. Okay, so if I now run this report, it'll give us a table format as we're used to. But this report is different because it has multiple columns. So we've got branch, month, year, and count. So we've got 4 columns appearing in our table. So like Lucy already showed you, it will always default to showing 20 rows per page. So we're going to work with that just now. So the actual results shown though is 171, and I'm going to show you the difference between the total number of results and the rows per page as part of this example. So first thing is I'm going to create a chart, and this time I'm going to do my bar chart first of all. But here's our first difference. We now have the ability to select more output in our chart. So we have got the X column up here being branch, that our column 1 is saying month, column 2 is year, and column 3 is count. Now, in our table, if I just close that, in our table, the years are pretty much the same. So actually, that's not a very good statistic. So I'm going to take that off my chart. So I don't want the year to display. But I want the branch, I want the month, and I want the count to display. So I can have multiple Y columns. When I click on draw, you see we've got more output now. So we've got an orange and a blue line. And if we hover over, you can see the orange represents the count and the blue represents the month. So this is giving us our main library, branch checkouts, 69 in the 9th month. So 69 checkouts last September, for example. Okay. Now again, if we have a look down at our table, we can see that green was displaying, which is here, and the majority of them are also our mains. If I'm going to create the chart again, this time select pi, and I am going to just leave the setup as it is, and I'm going to draw. We get 3 segments, so we get our main, our NIMR, and our green, which reflects the branches listed in our table of green, mains, and the NIMR. Okay, so as I said, the chart is built on the number of results based on your table. So we have got the rows per page is 20, so your chart's built on these 20. And like Lucy said, you can change your rows per page. But in addition, what you can do with charts is if you want to see total number of results, you can fetch all data for chart. And then that will allow us to create a chart which is based on all 171 results. So now when I come in to draw my pie, sorry, that's completely wrong. I'll just do that again. Now I want to remove the year again, leave my pie chart with the month and the count, and now I get a better display. I can get the pie slices to indicate the branch checkouts for each of the configured branches on the system. So there's Parker one, for example, is 12.4%, but they weren't listed in my first 20 hits, so that's why we didn't see them previously. Okay, so there's a lot more slices in the pie there. So that's the difference between doing your create chart and your fetch all data for chart, and the different chart types that there are as well. And at any point you can hide your chart and toggle back to your chart if you've already created it.